Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from last group or group 5. They are Sheviana Aisyiah, Sofia lapuja, Salwa Dzulhijjah, Salsabila Yunita, Virna Salsabila, and Yenni Mahrita. We will present our material about educational administration. Next, we will explain 3 points about educational administration. They are the definition of educational administration, scope of educational administration, and function of educational administration. Definition of educational administration. Educational administration is a combination of two words, namely administration and education. Each of which has its own meaning, but when coupled it forms a new meaning. In essence, educational administration is the application of administrative science in the world of education or fostering, developing, and controlling educational practice. Based on the etymology, administration comes from Latin, which consists of ad and ministro. Ad means to, and ministro means to serve. Really, it can be interpreted that the administration is a service or dedication to a certain subject.
There are some opinions regarding the notion of educational administration, namely as follows. First, Hadari Nawawi said, educational administration is a series of activities or the entire process of controlling the collaborative efforts of a number of people to achieve educational goals systematically held in a particular environment, especially in institution formal education. Second, Enkoswara said, educational administration is the study of structuring human resources, namely curriculum and facilities to achieve educational goals optimally and create a good atmosphere for humans in achieving educational goals. And third, according to Ngalin Purwanto, educational administration is the entire process of directing and understanding everything, both personal, spiritual, and material, which is related to the achievement of educational goals. And from some of the above limitations, it can be concluded that educational administration is the act of coordinating human behavior in education so that exciting resources can be arranged as best as possible and so that educational goals can be achieved productively.
Okay, for the next, there is an educational administration. Educational administration has a very broad scope or field of work. In more detail, the scope of education can be described as follows. For the first, there is a school administration. This includes first organization and structure of administrative staff, and then there is authorization and school financial expenditure budget, and then the third, there is a staffing problems and the welfare of the school personnel, and then the fourth, equipment and supplies problem, and then the last, there is a finances and bookkeeping. And then the next, there is administrative personnel for teacher and school employees. This is include for the first appointment and placement of a teacher, and then next there is a personal organization of teacher, and then next there is a staffing problems and teacher welfare, and then the fourth, orientation plans for new teacher, and then the last, in-service training and upgrading of a teacher. And then the next is student administration. This includes organization and association of students, and then health problems and welfare of students, and then the third, assessment and measurement of student progress, and then the last is guidance and counseling for students. So the next point will be delivered by our friends Yenni Mahrita. From what has been described, the scope covered in educational administration can be grouped as follows. 1. Material administration, namely administrative activities related to material fields or objects such as school administration, financial administration, and others. And number 2 is personal administration, including the administration of teacher, personnel, and school employees, as well as student administration. And the last is curriculum administration, which includes curriculum preparation, curriculum coaching, curriculum implementation, such as the distribution of teaching tasks to teachers, syllabus preparation, and so on. From what has been described, the scope covered in educational administration can be grouped as follows. 1. Material administration, namely administrative activities related to material fields or objects such as school administration, financial administration, and others. And number 2 is personal administration, including the administration of teacher, personnel, and school employees, as well as student administration. And the last is curriculum administration, which includes curriculum preparation, curriculum coaching, curriculum implementation, such as the distribution of teaching tasks to teachers, syllabus preparation, and so on.
So we move to the third part, the function of educational administration. First is organizing. Organizing is an activity in which the activities consist of arranging and forming interpersonal of group work relationships so as to create a business entity in pursuit of predetermined goals. The second is planning. Administration and management always begin with the planning function. In this stage, the administrator has activities to formulate, select, and determine what resource activities will be carried out and perhaps which will be used in the future to achieve certain goals. And the third is coordination or coordinating. Coordination is an effort to avoid confusion in acting. In other words, coordination is an activity that brings people, material, idea, technique, and goals into a harmonious and productive relationship. The fourth is communication. Communication is very important. This communication includes the dissemination of ideas and intention both in writing and orally. The next is supervision, the implementation of educational programs. Of course, it must be accompanied by supervision. The process of monitoring educational program must be carried out carefully so that educational goals can be achieved. Supervision can be done directly and indirectly. Direct supervision is carried out through on-site surveillance activities, while indirect supervision can be carried out through policies, circular, giving instruction through circular letters, and etc. In school education organization, supervision is aimed at providing guidance and direction, examination, and assessment. The supervision is carried out by the principal. The next is staffing. The staffing function has been running starting from the planning and organizing process. In this case, educational administration strives for those who are elected to occupy certain position, namely people who have the ability and capability in accordance with the given position. In employment, to the point of emphasis is the person himself. Activities carried out within the staffing include determining, selecting, placing, and guiding personnel. The next is budgeting. Budgeting is a budget that is planned and realized for the achievement of educational administration goals. Education financing administration is all activities related to the arrangement of sources, use, and accountability of education funds in school or educational institution. The last one is assessment or evaluating. The purpose of evaluation activities is to examine and determine the effectiveness of the implementation of the entire organization process. Is an effort to achieve results according to the established programs in relation to the achievement of educational goals. In more detail, the purpose of the assessment or evaluating are The first is provide a basis for consideration of whether at the end of the employment period the job was successful. The second is ensuring an effective and efficient way of working. The third, obtaining facts about difficulties and to avoid potentially destructive situations. And the last one is advancing the ability of personnel in developing educational organization.
Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.